What's up, everybody? It is endmuser. How is everyone doing? Today, we're going to talk about Diablo 4 Season 2. I must say, I have been pleasantly surprised so far. We'll get into it. I jumped in right when Season 2 launched. It wasn't necessarily my plan. But I'm currently running a sorcerer, as you can see, and I'm right around level 71. For some reference, when it comes to my Diablo 4 playtime, I'm probably somewhere comfortably between a casual to a pro tip full-time Diablo streamer. As many of you know, we create content for fun on this channel. And with that, I've got a family, a full-time job. Therefore, I play probably on average. I play daily. On average, I would say a little bit each day. Probably not every day, but if you average it out. Sometimes, there's several days that I don't play, but if I'm not playing, I'm typically in downtime, researching builds, different things like that for the character that I'm running. So, anyways, with that said, I typically try to balance something else while I'm playing a game like Diablo, or whether it was Destiny, in and out of Destiny here and there. Right now, for example, I'm back on Spider-Man 1, trying to platinum it. I had beat that game when it came out back, what was that, 2017, maybe? I think, maybe. So I beat that game. I jumped back in it with Spider-Man 2 coming out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try platinum this thing, maybe play Miles Morales, and then maybe put Spider-Man 2 on the Christmas list or something. So with all that said, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what type of Diablo 4 player that I am. I would consider myself, many of you familiar with the channel and me, I'm an avid gamer. I stay in tune with gaming news, and therefore I probably obviously say I'm beyond what some maybe would call a casual. The reason I'm telling you all this is just to kind of give you an idea of what kind of Diablo 4 player I am. Clearly not max 100 within a day or two of playing the season. But yeah, I did a Destiny podcast for 4 years, many of you know, and, have a gaming YouTube channel with my family. Gaming is definitely a top hobby. So with all that said, we'll jump in. I want to talk about Season 2, kind of my thoughts so far. Let us know down below what kind of player you are. If you're playing Diablo or whatever you're playing, would you consider yourself a pretty avid gamer or more of a just kind of play here and there? So yeah, anyways, a little bit more background on my play so far with Diablo. I played pre-season 1, I played a character to level 59. Then when season 1 launched, I was at about level 59 and started a new character level. I think I got my rogue up to level 62. But at that point in season 1, level 62, the grind just felt like it had kind of already set in. Like I was having a blast with the game, but the grind just felt like it set in, way quicker than I expected. I had already been running Nightmare Dungeons for a while. My gear was pretty awesome and comparable to, much higher level items, considering, I was 40 levels away from 100 and already kind of at that point. And, really a lot of those criticisms many shared about the season 1 experience. I did stay, I kind of took a break at that point, jumped in some other stuff. Sea of Stars beat that. At some point, maybe I'm trying to decide if I'm going to throw up a review on that. But I stayed in tune with the live streams, the patch notes, even with taking a break from the game a little bit. And I do remember when they announced season 2, obviously not that long ago, but it was like, man, the timing, not so good. Everyone was looking for plenty of quality of life aspects to drop within season 1, and we were already hearing about season 2 info, dropping, and quality of life aspects were being marketed with the season 2 launch. I was just like, man, the timing, not great, Blizzard. And we had a bit until season 2 launched, and I'm sure many like me were hoping to get some of those things in season 1, but it clearly appeared we weren't going to get them until season 2. And I think the timing, was it Gamescom? Was the opportunity there for them to announce some stuff. So that made sense. It just seemed like the timing just was kind of off with the sentiment of the community. And then much like, very similar to the recent announcement of at BlizzCon of the paid DLC coming out at the end of 2024 this year, or next year, I guess, a year from now. It's like the timing, it just like we're in season 2. It actually, and we'll get into this, kind of surprisingly, really kind of was more than we expected as far as going in the right direction faster than we expected, I think, as a community. And the timing's just like, okay, we don't, even though we want to be excited, I'm not sure right now is the time to hear about, the next thing you want us to pay for with Diablo. So yeah, anyways, let's get into the season 2 experience so far. I didn't read, so again, like I said, I was following the game, just like normal. I didn't read all the massive 1.2.0 patch notes, but did check out some, and also checked out my favorite Diablo creators, DM, Woody Joe, just kind of watching them and seeing what their reaction was, and you can kind of get a sense for the community as a whole, and just following it if you're not playing the game daily or taking a little bit of a break from it. So yeah, didn't read all the patch notes, kind of still had a pretty good idea of what was coming and the highlights of it, I guess you could say. There were a lot of updates. It seemed as though Season 2 had some, it seemed like it had some potential. I still wasn't sure of how it was going to feel when you actually jumped in. I really didn't have any plans to jump in right away, but it had been a bit, and it was kind of one of those, playing other stuff. Okay, I'm ready to jump back into some Diablo. At this point, my main 2 characters up to season 2 were Barbarian and a Rogue, which I mentioned earlier. I can't remember if I said Barb, but yeah. So you typically with games, I'll start with a Barb or something like that, and I've Rogue something, maybe even like a Elder Scrolls game. I've done Rogue characters before. I haven't done a bunch of sorcerer characters. I've tried a few times and enjoyed it, but just I don't know that I've ever made it real far with a sorcerer. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna mix it up with season 2. Let's do a sorc, and just kind of see what that character's like. I jumped in with a druid to about level 10, and while that character class was cool, it felt similar to a barb. So I was like, you know what? Let's go sorc. So yes, before I knew it. All right, so they increased, I believe I either read or maybe heard through one of DM's videos or something, the XP increase was like 40%. So before I knew it, I was like level 20, then level 30, level 40, just having a blast with season 2, just kind of surprised, a little bit surprised. Part of the reason, though, potentially the season 1 grind hadn't set in quite yet. Actually, I said season 1, I meant season 2. The season 2 grind hasn't maybe felt like it set in maybe as much. Potentially, let me know down below if it has for you, if you're playing season 2, if the grind's still kind of setting in similar to season 1 or maybe a little bit better. But what I did, I jumped into this character. I was trying to figure out the renown, because they've adjusted that, and I was thinking everything was coming over. Well, they gave you credit for the renown you have on other characters, but you still have to clear some stuff out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try on this character in this season to clear out the entire map. And I spent a good, probably, I'd say maybe to level 30 or 40, completely clearing out Fractured Peaks. And I actually still am not done. I've got a few quests left and a few dungeons, as you can see. So I spent probably the first 30 to 40 levels doing that. That probably contributed maybe to a little bit of the seasonal grind not coming into play as early, as it might have. But, kind of a side note. So I guess once I hit that, I was like, you know what? I did mix in a little bit of the seasonal quest, but at a certain point they tell you finish, this chapter. Are they called chapters? Yeah, the season journey. So, it said finish this chapter before it'll progress. Finish this chapter. Well, it was only what? I mean, you can see I'm not super far into this. I do have a lot of them done in each of these, but there's just like a few that I'm missing. Chapter 3, clearly, the seasonal story was done. And with that, let's chat about the season 2 story and quest. I'm just not sure how I feel about their structure so far with the story and the seasons. It's kind of a layered thing for me. With Diablo, I don't really need more side story and mechanics and power change. it's one of those things. Really, I feel like just some maybe a new small area here and there with a bigger drop each year, and maybe then a big one, with items to chase and a bigger section of the map. It's the it's the I guess the story. I The thing about it is I enjoy the story in a game. Destiny 2, for example, just excellent story beats each season. Bungie really got honed in on that, has gotten honed in on that each season. I got some stuff to claim here, it looks like. But with Diablo, it's like I I want story, but at the same time, if you just gave me, you know, for example, sometimes I almost feel like they could just drop a stack of new items to chase and maybe a new boss to farm each season, and I'd possibly be good with that. But again, I'm not grinding the season out in 1 to 2 days. So I get where some that do like the power change up, with the vampiric hearts, or sorry, hearts, it's malignant hearts, the vampiric powers. Um, maybe that's for the people that are grinding to 100 in a couple days, and they need a whole season worth of stuff to kind of play with. For me, it's just something else to learn, and I want to focus on the core game. I don't get me wrong, like I do enjoy the vampiric powers; they're pretty cool, and we'll talk about those a little bit more. But it's kind of like I guess I could spend my time, in the eternal realm if I don't want to do those things. But then you kind of feel like you're missing on the hype of the new season. And with that, it sounds like Blizzard's marketing plan is working. They want you in the seasonal stuff, not the eternal realm, because got the battle pass and all that good stuff we're looking at right here. So yeah, I'm trying to decide on the powers. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Before we get into that, I wanted to talk about the story a little bit more. I couldn't really, I guess, tell you exactly, and it's like this with many games. I couldn't tell you exactly like what the story was. Obviously, we got vampires, we got Eris, which reminds me of Destiny. It's a couple times I mentioned Destiny now, maybe more, but it's spelled different though. I think it's Rerys. But I couldn't really tell you like exactly much about the story. And I mean, I enjoy story. I enjoy lore in games. Like I don't skip through cutscenes. I listen to it and it's cool. I like the little nuggets of story. Diablo 4 so far, I'm just not sure about like the seasonal story structure. I'm sure it's pretty in depth, if you know your Diablo lore and you dive into it quite a bit, which I'm not opposed to. Like I could probably easily get into some more lore. It just kind of adds that depth to the game. But it's one of those things I'm trying to figure out. It's early on, just like the overall mechanics of the game. Maybe they're still trying to figure out exactly how they want to incorporate story into each Diablo season. Again, I don't skip through the dialogue. I do try to take it in, but I'm not sure the way they are delivering it right now is sticking, really, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's also very short. It's what, 5 missions, and then you're fighting, the final boss. But maybe that's the way it should be because they know people want to get to the leveling and the grinding. I'm rambling a little bit, but it's kind of a catch-22, I guess. I'm saying on one side, I don't know where additional story or how it should fit into the game, but on the other side, I'm saying I don't really want that much of it because I just want to get in and grind some nightmare dungeons and grind some loot and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, let me know, let us know down below what you think. How do you feel about the story additions each season? And, is that what's important to you? Do you like them? Do you just need little nuggets of it, or would you like more? Definitely curious. So yeah, now let's talk about the seasonal powers. Here, let's look real quick. I think they call them seasonal powers. Is that what they call them? Let's see. We're gonna take a look at this here in a minute too. New power. Yeah, vampiric powers. So, pretty much. So yeah. Anyways, the seasonal vampiric powers. Last season we got the uh, malignant hearts. I think is what they were called, right? So season 1 was like a gym thing. You could put it slotted in the gyms. I think a lot of people were expecting basically, and this is kind of a joke, I guess you could say, another gym type power to slot in your gear. But we actually did get something totally new this season with vampiric powers and also a new menu interface, which was pretty surprising. Definitely, I mean, we can obviously I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but you can look at it here. We get a whole new interface menu option, and we got to level these things up. It is kind of weird. You have basically stat or like a random roll of which one you can um, level up. That's an interesting aspect, I guess. But yeah, anyways, vampiric powers. This is where, for me, I think my playtime and style may differ from others who play. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. For me, the new powers, if you will, isn't the draw. Maybe it's the amount of time that I play, but I'm more interested in like new items, bosses, stuff like that's the draw for me. It's I don't know, I wonder if the game would get stale if that's, all they added each season. It's very possible. Definitely, obviously, for somebody who's playing more than me, the game might get stale. It's just one of those things, like the new power mechanic, just, I don't, at the moment at least, it doesn't really draw me. Like, I'm not looking at these, and maybe I will as I get to higher levels. But the other thing that I'm not a big fan of is like, this eventually is going away. So in a sense, we're not actually playing like the core game. We're playing this power fantasy until it goes away and something else comes. So as part of me just feels like it would be cooler if we were playing still the same core game, like our character isn't having these cool vampiric powers and then they go away and then we have something else, instead of it just being like, okay, this is the game, these are your powers, chase these items or chase, farm this boss. Anyways, I don't, is that just me? I'm not sure. The additional powers each season just hasn't quite landed for me yet. Maybe it's something I just need to think about a bit more, or maybe dabble into even a bit more, because I've leveled some stuff up. I've looked up some builds, but I'm still just haven't spent a lot of time on this. As you can see, too, my packs, I don't have a lot of that balanced out. So yeah, let us know down below what you think about the powers and stuff, and that kind of structure in the game. I will say the new Blood Harvest event, now that has been pretty fun. You get so much XP. You just watch your XP bar go up. I think I was playing one night, I just wanted to hit 50 one night. I was 47 or 46 or something, and it's just cruising. And as long as I'm sure if you were in a party, you could just, you got to have the, I forget what they're called, the blood something. But, other than having to go get those, you and friends could just spam that event. And I was just doing it with randos. I'd kind of stand out there and wait for some people to show up. But it has been a lot of fun. I will say it's not very challenging. It's more so just melt everything as fast as you possibly can. And the loot is unreal. Like as soon as I hit World Tier 4, you go over there, just Ancestrals dropping. I mean, pretty often. I've gotten maybe just one or two since hitting World Tier 4 Ancestral Unique. But I got a couple in World Tier 3, obviously not Ancestral. But anyways, the loot's crazy. Super fun. The only thing I will say, and this is kind of something I'm tapping into right now, is I'm hitting those World Tier 4 Nightmare Dungeons. And the loot is not it's just not much, it feels like, so far. And it's probably because of how much loot you get with the Blood Harvest. Like it's just a lot of loot, at least so far it has been. So yeah, the in-game bosses, that's another thing. I'm excited to jump into those more. At this point, I've actually only, just for fun, went in at the Tree of Whispers. I forget which boss that is, and battled that boss and actually barely beat him. That was probably like level 50. I don't even know. So yeah, I've got a bunch. Oh, sorry, buddy. I got a bunch of these that I've kind of built up. So I'm looking forward to farming those bosses, looking for specific items and or gear levels when I get to that point. So it's kind of pumping me up right now to jump in and play a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, this is just like this is the type of player I am. This is my experience so far. Like if you're kind of on the fence and you haven't jumped in yet this season, whether you're similar to, how much I play and or not, I will say, like, overall the experience has been a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, it's been enjoyable. I did want to kind of real quick before we hop off, I wanted to take a look at the let me see here. Yeah, I wanted to take a look at this page again and kind of run through and make sure we didn't miss anything. Obviously, the new story we talked about, new quest line, new powers. the Blood Harvest event. We got new gear. View your gear with blood magic. Oh no, sorry, that's the vampiric powers, I guess. These are the new in-game bosses. This is what I'm looking forward to spending a little bit more time with here. And again, I'm level 71. You know, I had already stopped in season 1 at 62, and I'm kind of just like, I'm getting to the point. I'm just starting to grind Nightmare Dungeons, so I'm like kind of ready to go, and I'm 71. So the pacing of the leveling has been excellent. It really has. You have to let me know down below. Let us know if you're playing, if you feel like it has been for you. But I'm also kind of slowly wanting to potentially platinum this game. So I got to get a character to 100, then I think I got to get a hardcore character to 50, among other things. But just kind of like a slow grind, potential platinum there maybe. Let's see. This is where I was talking about with some friends in our Discord. Like, they were marketing a lot of stuff for season 2 that was really quality of life stuff versus like salesy stuff for season 2. So you know, it is what it is, but it's in the game now and it's running pretty smooth. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it, I think. I wanted to look at I think it was, let's take a look. Yeah, so let's look. I've looked at the shop a time or two, but I was really looking at it the other night. This is kind of crazy. You know, we get some of the clothes we get on the battle pass, which I'm pretty close to. I got one more page left on the battle pass, but some of the stuff we get on the battle pass, where is it here? Like this. I mean, it's okay, but then you go to the store, and this is classic. Like, I was looking through some of this stuff. Look at this stuff. This looks crazy cool, but 2,600 silver, okay? I forget. Oh, platinum, sorry, not silver. That's Destiny. 2,600 would almost cost you $25. I mean, it would cost you $25. It's just like, and it's not like this is Fortnite where the game was free. Just the prices in some of these shops. You know, I don't spend much in the shops, but that, like, I go look at that. We used to talk about this on our Destiny podcast. If this was like $10, I would think about it. And I maybe would even end up spending like $20, $30. But $25 just for that? Like, it makes me just not want to really buy anything. You know, I'm not saying I won't at some point buy something that really, you know, sticks out to me, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know, the pricing and some of this stuff. Again, it's a little bit maybe more expected on a free-to-play game, but, you know, a game where you're paying for the game and then the battle pass, you know, at least if you want most of the items on the battle pass, and then the shop has got prices like that. So anyways, that could be a whole different video. It's just one of those things. But yeah, battle pass, we're grinding, looking like maybe we're going to finish it this season. I do want this Corridor of Light. This looks cool. I'm using the other one right now, the light one. I think that's a little bit earlier in the battle pass. But so that's pretty much the gist of it. And, you know, overall, I definitely feel like season 2 has made way more ground in getting the core game where we all thought it would be, I guess, at launch. Even though it's only a couple seasons in, it seems like we're way closer to what potentially we thought we might have. I mean, might have to wait 5 to 8 seasons for. But season 2, already feeling pretty good. You know, the core foundation of the game is definitely there. It's I guess the fine tuning of the overall gameplay structure that it feels like they're honing in on. You know, maybe they needed, obviously they've had plenty of games before, but maybe they needed a bunch of actual players playing the game, you know, to get some of that feedback. But again, I think many of us have said it. The foundation of the game there is there. The world's cool. It seems like there's lots of things to do. It just seems like maybe they need to hone in on what it is. I guess a good flow of what players want to do, you know, when they are grinding through a season, start to finish. So anyways, we'll be optimistic about it. I look forward to playing more this season. I look forward to playing future seasons. Curious where you guys are in the season and what your thoughts are overall, depending on, you know, at what point you are. If you're level 100, level 30, level 50, haven't jumped in yet, let us know down below what your thoughts are on Diablo and the season, how much you've played. But yeah, I mean, just the usual. Just want to give a shout out, you know, to our channels real quick. appreciate all the support. We did hit 300 YouTube subscribers on our gaming channel, which was awesome. We have ticked back down a couple since then, a couple days ago, but that's okay. That's part of it. So yeah, we appreciate all the support on the YouTube channel, the gaming channel. We do have a collecting channel we posted a couple videos on, so definitely check that out. It's mostly Pokemon right now, but we got a collecting channel we launched. And then eventually I did record a video for the Lance Muser channel, but had a little bit of technical difficulties. So probably going to record either it again or something else. But at some point, potentially going to launch some stuff over on the Lance Muser channel. And yeah, also, obviously, jump in our Discord. We got a lot of peeps chatting in there. It's a fun time, just having a good time, being awesome to each other, chatting about anything from movies, music, games, collecting, all that stuff. So yeah, news, food, funny stuff, just whatever. Jump in, have a good time. We're chatting about all the things. So yeah, as always, appreciate all the support. And until next time, take care.